Okay, so growing up in Texas, I've always experienced having crazy weather, from dust storms in West Texas to flooding a river, to watching a river flood in East Texas. Mother Nature is one crazy, crazy weapon in Texas, but I'd never experienced in the cold kind of way until I went to Colorado on my first elk hunt. See, Colorado being that change in altitude and being up on the side of the mountain the whole time, there's no telling what kind of weather you're going to have, what kind of precipitation, I should say. One day, it'll be 50 degrees and raining up there, and then within a week, it'll drop, and you'll have snow, 6 inches, 7 inches of snow on top of you, and it'll be 25 degrees, winds blowing, practically a blizzard out. Well, when I went hunting for the first time in Colorado, I over-prepared with the clothes for sure. I brought everything that I knew that was warm, wool, thick cotton, all that, but yet still Mother Nature found a way to prevail against me. I was sitting on the side of a mountain in Meeker, Colorado. I was on a cliff face pretty much, probably I couldn't tell you what kind of an angle. I just know that if I sat on the ground, my back would touch the side of the mountain. It was very steep. And there was this elk herd that had been holed in the bottom where I was sitting that my cousin had taken a very large elk from a couple days before. And I decided that that's the spot that I wanted to hunt for the rest of my trip, to see if I could take one of the elk out of that herd. And this, I think, second to last day, I was sitting there, and I had been watching fox and mule deer move up and down the mountain, and a couple of flocks of turkeys came in. And as soon as the sun really got over the opposite peak, I would say close to 8:30, the herd really got up to start moving. I could hear the cow elk in the bottom of this huge, you could call it a holler, I guess, just a sheer cliff that went down into a valley, and you could hear them echo. Their bugles and their mews would echo up the side of the mountain. I heard them. So I started mewing, calling, so on and so forth. And it all stopped real quick. All the movement stopped. And I start noticing my surroundings, and I look over at this mountain that's probably close to 4 or 5 miles away from me. And there's this huge black thunderhead rolling in. And it was already about 22 degrees outside, so I knew that had to be snow in there. And it starts coming over, and it comes over me, and it just spits a little bit. And I didn't think anything of it. No, barely any snow on the ground or anything like that, and it passes. Maybe 10, 15 minutes after that, the animals come back out, and they go right back away. And as soon as they went back away, I look over again, and there's a thunderhead that makes the thunderhead that just rolled over look like its child. This thing was massive. It covered the whole entire sky. And it came over, and then I knew I was absolutely screwed right there. I didn't have gloves, and I was going to have to drive a four-wheeler at least I don't know how many miles back to camp. And I just bunkered down in my suit, and I sat there up against this log and just huddled myself in, and I unzipped my giant bibs that I had on and took them off, and then just put it like a full-body blanket over myself. And I watched this snowstorm roll over, and then as it came to our mountain, it just kind of stopped. And that's when it hit. It just started. I've never seen snow like it in my life. I couldn't see maybe 4 or 5 feet in front of me. Everything was blue. It was so snowy. It was just eerie almost. It was, it was crazy. I'd never seen snowfall like that. So I trudged my way up back the mountain to get to my four-wheeler when I'm done with my hunt, after I decide that it's way too cold to be outside. I get back to camp, and by the time I get back to camp, my fingertips are almost blue. I could barely feel him, and my grandpa's sitting there waiting on me along with everybody else, just very warm, sitting by the fire, enjoying themselves a beverage, and they just start laughing and carry on. When I roll up, they said I look like the abominable snowman. I had so much snow on me. But the moral of that story is to never trust a forecast, no matter what state you're in. And if you're going someplace cold, always make sure to bring gloves and plenty of clothes. Thank you.